Good day, everyone. I just want to quickly go through a second update over the Google Classroom. Just talk about a couple of things that are going on in the class now that we're a couple weeks into remote learning. What I want to do today is just kind of go through some of the things that either yourself or your student is kind of going through on a daily basis. Some things that we can talk about and hopefully answer a couple of questions within this video. So basically, a couple things to look at. First off, if your student ever needs extra help or anything like that, there are office hours for us. We are having office hours from 2:10 to 3 o'clock. This is Mr. Corbin's office hours, and mine will be posted in here shortly. If a student ever wants to get extra help or any sort of tutoring, anything like that, they are allowed to. Please just send us a quick message, whether it's via the Remind app that your child can actually be using to send us real-time messages, or we can actually use this with our email, okay? If you send us an email that you'll be showing up, we'll hop in there and make sure that we're ready for them, okay? On top of that, as you can see, there is a little bit of an update with each of the weeks, okay? For week 1 and week 2, as we've been going through, I've been kind of updating as we go along, okay? We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I post each daily assignments in here. We have our Zoom link for the week posted at the top, as well as a plan for each of the weeks posted here, okay? To kind of give you an idea of how a daily schedule goes. If I were to click on something like Tuesday here, our agenda is we always go over the week to start each week. We talk about what's going to be due, what's going to be assigned, things like that. Okay. We always like to talk about kind of what to expect for the week to come and basically what they have to prepare for and the assignments that are going to be due. On top of that, within the Zoom period itself, we're going to talk about the lesson. These notes are going to be provided for yourself or your student at all times. So we go through, we always take notes together. We do it as a class. We go through a couple problems together, and then we give them basically an assignment in class each day, okay? These notes are accessible at all times. So if they want to go back to even last week on the lesson 1-1 and check out the notes, it is completely accessible to get back to and actually see and go through, okay? All of these are accessible at all times, okay? I do not close them, I leave them up. On top of that, if you have any questions about the actual homework that I'm giving within the class itself, okay? Basically, how the homework works is because we have such a short class period, okay, 40 minutes on top of the fact of we're dealing with computers, there's always some issues here and there, getting kids signed in, things like that. We have to kind of be pretty cautious with our time. So the class period, we have to be very specific in what we talk about, what we teach, and the questions that we answer, okay? With a lot of times with our Zoom meetings, I want to try to answer as many questions that your students have. I want to try to go through as many important problems that your students might have or might see in the future and things like that. With that being said, the actual homework isn't necessarily any problems or anything like that. The homework are these Edpuzzle videos, okay? Basically how it works is they access either of these that I post daily. All they have to do is watch this video from start to end. This is a typical lesson that we do. There are a few questions that are built into it from times. And at that point, once they watch the video from start to end, I get a completion timer. And then what I do is I give them their free homework points. Okay. So if you're ever curious of why there might be an NHI in the gradebook or things like that, typically that is because they have not watched this video. Now, for the first couple of weeks, I did give a little bit of leeway just trying to give some opportunities to kind of provide students to get used to this. Moving forward, these are a daily assignment, and the only reason they are daily is just because it's kind of hard to come in the lesson that day, go through these certain problems that the students have seen without having background knowledge of the lesson, okay? It's pretty much like coming in and trying to learn something brand new without having the lesson to help you out, okay? On top of that, we do have certain things. I do post the activity reviews within a Jamboard assignment. These are actually opportunities for students to go through and actually work on the review itself. They can either access this on the computer or even they could go through and do this themselves, okay? Can be on the computer or this is a printable copy that they can take out and actually work on, okay? This is when we go over a full activity, which is usually about 3 lessons, and they can actually go through and watch, or excuse me, they can actually go through and work these problems out and see how they have done, okay? On top of that, for all reviews, I do post answer keys as well, so they can always go back and check any of their work. Last but not least, we do have a Go Formative, okay? These are typically our quiz assignments, all right? How I do quizzes right now with remote learning is that I usually give them about 24 hours to complete the assignment, okay? They'll log into class that day, we'll get them set up, and then if they want to stick around to ask any questions, they're allowed to. Or if they want a nice quiet time to speak, they can go ahead and turn off their camera and just work through the Go Formative assignment, okay? Each of these I usually do about like once every 2 weeks. Typically, they're pretty short just because we don't have that long of a Zoom meeting, and I don't want to pressure them to actually try to force problems to get done. So with that being said, this was the first one that we did, and the students would basically log into it, answer about 6 questions, and then I can grade them in real time. And then that is kind of the overview of a typical week in the class. As you can see, I've been adding certain things throughout this process. If you have any questions about this, feel free to email myself or Mr. Corbin. We can talk about how things are done within the class and how things are provided for students or your students themselves. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to kind of come through and give a quick update. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see or talk to you soon.